Close your eyes for a moment and remember the last time something extraordinary happened to you. Not something you begged for, but something that seemed to arrive just in time. That was not chance. That was your own unseen power revealing itself, the law of assumption at work. You are not separate from your desires. They are already yours. The only separation is in your thinking, your doubting, your waiting. The moment you act as if the miracle is already yours, you collapse the distance between the wish and the world. Do not wait for a sign. Become the sign. Walk like someone whose prayers are already answered. Speak with the calm confidence of one who has received. Think like someone who has no reason to worry. You are not hoping for miracles. You are made of the same substance that creates them. If you want love, become the one who is already cherished. If you want abundance, embody the energy of ease, generosity, and security. If you want healing, live in the state of the healed, not the hurting. The secret is simple. You do not attract miracles, you match them. You do not chase them, you become them. You do not ask repeatedly, you receive internally and let the world adjust. The greatest power you will ever wield is this, your ability to assume a reality so completely that life has no choice but to conform to your inner conviction. So today, walk as the miracle, dress as the miracle, speak as the miracle, think as the miracle, because once you decide you are a magnet to miracles, they cannot help but find you. Imagination is not a mere daydream or fleeting thought. It is the very fabric of creation, the silent sculptor of reality. When you close your eyes and dare to see yourself beyond what is now, you are not escaping, you are planting the seeds of transformation. Everything you experience externally was once first imagined internally, whether consciously or unconsciously, and this is the truth most people miss. Your imagination is the magnetism of the soul. It draws into your life not what you want desperately, but what you consistently imagine to be true. The world around you responds not to the physical effort alone, but to the image you habitually carry within. A man can toil day and night, but if in the quiet of his own mind he still sees himself as a failure, as unworthy or unlucky, then his results will mirror that inner picture. The law is precise. What you assume to be true, you live out. Life does not respond to wishful thinking. It responds to the state you occupy within yourself. Imagination is the bridge between where you are and where you long to be. It is your permission slip to enter a new reality before the facts rearrange. You see, the soul does not live in linear time. It dwells in eternity. So when you imagine something with feeling, with vivid detail, and remain faithful to that image, the soul sends out its quiet vibration into the unseen. The outer world is clay, but the imagination is the potter. It molds circumstances, shifts events, and reconfigures situations according to the belief you hold inside. That belief is not what you say once in a while, it is what you see again and again when no one is watching. The image you hold when your head touches the pillow, the tone of voice in your self-talk, the quiet assumptions that run your inner dialogue. Those are the commands you give to life. And here's the miracle. You can change the image at any moment. You can withdraw from the habitual picture of struggle or lack and choose to dwell in the reality of peace, abundance, or love. But you must do it with conviction. Half-hearted imagining produces scattered results. But when you dwell so deeply in a new image that it begins to feel like home, then it becomes your truth and the world begins to conform. You don't need to figure out how it will happen. That's not your role. Your work is the inner vision. The consistency of returning to the new image even when outer facts scream otherwise. Because the world is slow to catch up to the imaginal act, but it must catch up. It cannot resist the pull of one who is magnetized by their own belief. So if you want to shift your life, do not start with action, start with vision. Rehearse your miracle until it becomes familiar. Speak from the place where it has already occurred. Walk in the world as one who has already received. Let the image be so alive within you that you no longer look for proof, because you are the proof. The soul's magnetism is quiet, subtle, invisible, but it is unstoppable. The world bends not to force, not to begging, not to fear, but to the inner image you consistently hold. Guard that image. Nourish it. Believe in it, because your imagination is not pretending. It is the beginning. It is the blueprint of your future. There is a hidden doorway between what you hope for and what you experience. And that doorway is feeling. Not just any feeling, but the kind that is rich with certainty, alive with emotion, and full of conviction. To imagine something is not enough. You must feel it real. You must let your entire being respond as though what you desire has already come to pass. That is the secret most overlooked. You are not waiting for a miracle to feel grateful, joyful, or free. You are required to feel those things first. That is how the miracle knows where to go. Feeling is the bridge between thought and reality. It is not just decoration to your imagination, it is the power that activates it. When you imagine yourself healed but continue to feel broken, you cancel the power of the vision. But when you feel within you the emotional certainty of wholeness, even before any evidence appears, you call that state into your world. Feeling is what convinces the subconscious that the desire is real, and once the subconscious accepts it, the world begins to rearrange. You must understand, emotion is not weakness. It is the most powerful instrument of manifestation. Thought without feeling is hollow, but thought clothed in emotion becomes magnetic. It draws experiences, people, and opportunities into your path in ways the logical mind cannot predict. The universe does not hear your words, it feels your state. And when you live from the feeling of already having, you are no longer asking, you are receiving. This is why you must not wait for outer facts to give you permission to feel joy. You must feel it now before any change, before any proof. And when you do, something begins to shift. You move from hoping to knowing, from wishing to expecting, from someday to now. The outer world may still look the same, but inside, you have stepped into a new state. And because the inner and outer must eventually align, the world will follow. Feeling it real is not pretending, it is not faking anything. It is entering into the state where your desired reality is already true and allowing your body, your breath, and your energy to respond to it. This is how you collapse time. This is how you live in the future before it arrives. And by doing so, you draw it closer. You become the one who already has, the one who already is. Let yourself feel it, not just once, but over and over until it becomes natural. Close your eyes and breathe as the version of you who already holds the miracle. How does it feel to be free, to be in love, to be abundant, to be chosen, supported, healed, and seen? Let that feeling flood your being. Let it be so real that you no longer wonder if it's coming. You know it has already arrived in the unseen. That feeling becomes your new home. And once you move into that emotional space, the world cannot help but bring you evidence of it. Life is not responding to what you want, it is responding to who you are being, what you are feeling, and the story you are emotionally living. So if you seek a miracle, go first into the feeling. Cultivate the emotion of fulfillment, not the ache of absence. Let joy precede the result. Let gratitude walk before the gift. Let peace replace the need for proof. And you will see what once felt far away will appear, drawn in by the silent power of your emotion. Feeling is the gateway. It is the access point to creation. It is the language of the soul and the signature of your belief. When you feel it real, you align with the miracle. And once you are aligned, there is nothing left to chase, only everything to receive. Most people spend their lives trying to attract what they want, chasing dreams, praying for miracles, working tirelessly, hoping that something from the outside will arrive and change their circumstances. But this is a misunderstanding of how creation works. You do not attract what you want, you become it. You become the version of yourself who already has it. And from that state of being, the world begins to mirror your inner transformation. You do not pull miracles to you as if they are separate. They are not distant. They are not outside. The moment you stop trying to reach for them and instead embody the state in which they are natural, they appear as if they had been waiting for your recognition all along. You see, miracles are not events. They are reflections. Reflections of the inner state you occupy consistently. If you believe you are blessed, supported, worthy, and whole, you will walk in a world that confirms that belief. It is not about wanting. Wanting is a state of lack. To want something implies you do not yet have it. But to become means you accept the reality now before it manifests in the physical. And that is the key. When you become the version of yourself who lives among miracles, who expects the extraordinary, who walks with calm certainty, life responds. You don't need to strive. You don't need to beg. You only need to shift who you are being. This requires inner honesty. What do you really believe about yourself, about what is possible? If deep within you believe life is hard, or you are unlucky, or you are not enough, then you will see that played out again and again, not because it's true, but because you have become that story. The world is not judging you, it is simply echoing you. You cannot trick life with positive words if they are not backed by your inner identity. You must become the one who is already blessed. When you shift your identity, everything else follows. Think of it like changing clothes. You don't become wealthy by chasing money. You become wealthy by embodying the mindset, the energy, the behaviors of one who lives in abundance. You don't become loved by searching for someone to fill the void. You become loved by loving yourself so deeply that you radiate the energy of being cherished. You do not become healed by fighting illness. You become healed by stepping into the wholeness that already exists within you. Becoming is not pretending, it is aligning. It is stepping into the truth that already lives within you, beyond fear and past memories. Every day you are becoming something. With every thought, with every feeling, with every word. The question is, are you becoming the version of yourself who lives in miracles, or the one who doubts them? You must live from the end, not towards it. If you were already the person who had everything you desire, how would you speak? How would you carry yourself? What choices would you make? Begin there. Because the more you embody that version, the less you have to wait. Life bends to who you are, not what you say you want. Miracles are drawn to the one who no longer waits for them. They surround the one who walks in the faith of already having received. You do not need to attract. You only need to become. And when you do, when you live as though the miracle is ordinary, as though the blessing is yours, not by chance, but by choice, by being, there is a quiet power in assumption, a force so subtle, most overlook it entirely, but it governs everything. The assumptions you hold about yourself, about life, about what is possible are the foundation of your reality. And when you assume that miracles are not rare, but natural, not distant, but present, you begin to live in a world that agrees. The shift is not dramatic. It is not loud. It is inward. A gentle yet firm acceptance that the extraordinary is your birthright. Most people are trained to expect struggle, to believe that good things take forever, that blessings are rare, that miracles are only for the chosen few. They may hope for more, but their core assumption is lack, delay, or difficulty. And so, that is what they experience. But the moment you assume that goodness is your natural state, that life wants to bless you, that joy belongs to you, everything begins to rearrange. This is not about false confidence or forced positivity. It is about a quiet knowing, a state where you no longer question if you're worthy. You simply know you are, where you no longer wonder if things will work out. You assume they already are. You don't beg for the miracle. You dwell in the energy of someone for whom miracles are normal. And from that state, life softens, resistance fades, doors open, not because you chase them, but because you aligned with them. Assumption is creative. It is not passive. It does not sit and wait. It declares and lives. To assume the miracle is your natural state is to no longer be surprised by goodness. It is to expect alignment. It is to know that solutions come, help arrives, answers unfold. Not because you force them, but because you are one with them, you have become someone for whom good things happen. This is a radical departure from the world's conditioning. You are taught to prepare for the worst, to lower expectations, to not get your hopes up. But all that does is cement a reality where miracles feel foreign. When you assume life is hard, life proves you right. When you assume blessings are rare, you hardly notice them. But shift the assumption, and everything changes. Begin each day with the quiet belief that things are working in your favor, that unseen forces are conspiring to bless you, that even delays have divine timing, that what is for you cannot miss you, not because you wish it, but because it is your normal. Let peace replace panic. Let calm expectation replace anxious striving. And life, feeling your new state, begins to rise to meet you. Assume the miracle is here, not on the way. Assume you are favored, not forgotten. Assume you are guided, not alone. The world outside may still echo your old assumptions for a while, but hold the new one with faith. The new belief will override the old pattern. You will see it in small things first, a coincidence, a compliment, a sense of ease, then larger shifts, unexpected opportunities, surprising favor. And suddenly what you assumed becomes what you experience. You don't need proof to assume, you need courage. The courage to believe in something before it appears, to walk in faith, to carry the energy of already being blessed. Because when you carry that energy, the world mirrors it. Life becomes a reflection of the inner conviction that good things are not an exception, they are your essence. Stop asking if the miracle will happen. Assume it has. Let your tone, your posture, your thoughts reflect that truth. Speak from it, move from it, rest in it, because assumption, when felt deeply, becomes identity, and your identity shapes your world. The moment you assume it's normal for good things to happen to you, they begin to. Because life always follows the lead of your belief. Every word you speak is a thread weaving the fabric of your reality. Every sentence carries a frequency, a vibration, an instruction to life. Most people don't realize they are constantly affirming lack with their language. They speak of what's missing, what hasn't arrived, what they fear, and then wonder why miracles feel so far away. But the secret is this: miracles arrive not to those who speak of absence, but to those who speak only from the end where their desire is already fulfilled. This is not about denial. It is not pretending that things don't feel hard. It is choosing not to give voice to what you don't want to expand. You do not feed your future by rehearsing your past. You do not become powerful by declaring weakness. Life responds not to your needs, but to your embodiment. And you embody what you consistently speak. So speak from the end, speak from the place where you already have the thing you once asked for, and the world will rush to match the image your words create. To speak from the end is to talk as if your miracle is already here. It is to align your conversation with the outcome, not the obstacle. It is to move your focus away from what's missing and onto what is unfolding. When you do this, your tone changes, your energy shifts. You begin to feel the reality of the thing you desire, and in feeling it, you draw it closer. This is not performance, this is truth, a deeper truth than circumstances can show, because everything starts in the unseen. The invisible realm of consciousness is where reality takes shape. And what you persist in assuming, feeling, and speaking becomes the visible. That is the law. Not a law of chance, but of alignment. You are creating the space in which the miracle must appear. Think about how you speak to yourself and others. Are you constantly explaining what isn't working? Are you defending your delay? Are you justifying your struggle? If so, you are reinforcing it. You're feeding the very condition you want to dissolve. But if instead you speak as if your prayer has been answered, even if only in your inner world, you shift the signal, you stop radiating need and start radiating possession. And life responds to possession. Talk like the doors are open. Talk like the blessing is unfolding. Talk like the love is already yours. Speak with the confidence of someone who has received the call, heard the yes, stepped into the promise. Not with arrogance, but with peace. With that quiet certainty that says, I've become. That is how miracles are welcomed, with open arms, not clenched fists. Language is creative power. It sculpts your internal landscape. And your internal landscape reflects back to you in the form of people, places, opportunities, and timing. So, take your words seriously, speak with vision, declare with purpose, even in private, especially in private. Talk like you are already living the life you desire, because the inner talk creates the outer walk. Stop repeating what went wrong, stop analyzing the delay, stop explaining the lack. That's not your job. Your job is to align with the version of you that lives beyond all that. Your job is to speak from the end and trust that life knows how to catch up. Speak as if the miracle is old news. Familiar, expected, because when it arrives, that's exactly how it will feel. Not a surprise, but a return to what always belonged to you. Every time you speak, you are either calling in the life you want or pushing it further into praising, where the question dissolves and only the answer remains. Most people live in the constant repetition of questions. When will it happen? How will it come? What if it never does? These questions, though honest, anchor the soul in doubt. And doubt delays. To live in the answer is to exit the loop of uncertainty. It is to stand in the place where your desire is already fulfilled and live from there. Because when you act as if your prayer is fulfilled, life rushes to prove you right. The question is rooted in absence. It assumes what you want is not yet here. And so long as you live from that state, hoping, reaching, waiting, you remain separate from the very thing you long for. But when you shift from asking to being, from wishing to embodying, you alter everything. The answer becomes your reality, not because it suddenly arrived, but because you finally stepped into alignment with it. This is not about pretending, it's about trusting. Trusting the unseen more than the seen, trusting the invisible bridge between your inner world and outer reality. You do not need to force the answer to arrive. You need only to live from it. Think like someone who has received it. Feel like someone who is already there. Speak like someone who knows they are held, provided for, guided. The energy you carry becomes the signal that calls the answer into form. When you live in the answer, you no longer entertain timelines or doubt. You're not anxiously scanning for signs. You're not performing rituals to speed things up. You're calm, anchored, still, because you know that what you seek is seeking you. You know that the seed is already planted and your only job is to nourish. The world around you might still look unchanged, but inside everything is different. And that inner change is the cause of outer transformation. You've moved from lack to fulfillment, from waiting to welcoming. Life has no choice but to echo that shift. To live in the answer is to embody gratitude before the gift. It's to walk in peace, even if circumstances say otherwise. It's to dress, speak, and move with the ease of someone whose prayer has been answered. You don't ask a second time. You don't beg. You assume the universe heard you the first time, and you live from that assurance. This is the posture of power, quiet, humble, certain. You are no longer pulled by the waves of doubt. You are no longer watching the clock. You are resting in the knowing. And the knowing is magnetic. It draws all things to itself. If you feel yourself slipping back into the question, the wondering, the worrying, gently return to the answer. See yourself having it. Feel the relief. Breathe into the peace. Let that be your new dwelling place, not a temporary visit. Because life doesn't give you what you plead for. It gives you what you are aligned with. Stop waiting for the answer to come knock on your door. You become the answer. You live it, feel it, speak from it. And the world rearranges to reflect it. The shift is subtle but seismic. You go from being a seeker to a receiver. From asking, will it come, to knowing it is done. Let today be the day you drop the question, not in frustration, but in faith. Walk as one who knows the path is already paved, the door already open, the miracle already yours. Live in the answer and watch as everything you've been waiting for begins to show up right on time. And so, beloved, the secret has never been in trying, begging, or striving, but in being. When you act as if you are a magnet to miracles, when you imagine boldly, feel it real, become the embodiment of your desires, assume your blessings as normal, speak only from the end, and live fully in the answer, life cannot help but respond in kind. The universe mirrors your inner conviction, not your outer effort. You are not separate from the miracles you seek. You are the environment through which they are born. Stop looking outside, return within, align with the version of you who already holds it all. From that sacred state, miracles are not a surprise, they are inevitable. Thank you for listening with your heart. Now, go live like it's already done, because it is.